What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Season 7, Episode 8 of the Husky Fat Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan. To my right, he is the eighth wonder of the world. Y'all know him. We love him. Mr. Scott motherfucking Jones! Who? Scott Jones!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special Monday edition of the Husky Fat Podcast. I'm getting some feedback in here, Josh.
A little feedback.
A little bit of feedback, but we're still rocking and rolling.
It's Monday.
It is a Monday, and we're rocking and rolling. We're here on a Monday as opposed to our Tuesday because we've got a special guest that we couldn't wait for you guys to meet and hang out with, and we're going to bring her on just a second here.
Switching some headsets around to see
Headsets around. Nope, still sounds the same. So it don't matter either way.
I
I can still hear it. Just some feedback on there. Here, hey Josh, lift that up over the chair there.
There it goes.
There you go. And turn it back down just a hair. Boom. Nope. Down. I sound loud as shit.
You just got to whisper today.
We're gonna whisper. It's just my natural aura. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's. We gotta wait for Josh to get ready before we bring her on. But we've got special guest here on a special Monday edition. Oh, boom, we're good. We're in the money. We've got Christina the Warhorse Williams here. We're about to bring her in live as she is getting ready for her title fight at Husky Fat on May 31st for the 125-pound flyweight pro championship. Dylan, you want to go ahead and do the official introductions here?
Absolutely. Scott mentioned it before, but let's go ahead and get her hype, bring everybody in. She is from Edmond, Oklahoma, representing Killer Beast Kickboxing of Edmond. Please welcome Christina Warhorse Williams.
What's up, Christina? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
It's like she's kind of in a metal building like we are too. Got the wind blowing in the background also. We gonna get some tornadoes in today, you think?
Oh, I don't know. It could happen. Could do nothing at all. Still waiting to see.
That's the way it always is. But I don't believe a word the weathermen say. They're all attention whores. They just want you to tune in. Like they try to do wall-to-wall coverage on thunderstorms. So I don't know. We'll see. But what do you do with, first off, how many horses and cattle do you guys have out there? And do you just let them out in the field, or do you guys corral them somewhere when storms are coming to calm them down? What do you guys do with them?
We have probably about 20 horses out here. That's like with clients' horses in training. So it's a good amount, but some of them are pasture horses and some of them are stalled. Like they'll just get turned out. So, yeah, some of them I'll leave out in the pastures in the storms, and some of them I won't. Like they have to be in the stall.
Do they run sprints back and forth before as the storm's coming, like they know it's coming? You know how animals sometimes get that sixth sense and they just start sprinting up and down and everything?
They definitely do. Like they feel a storm coming for sure. Like today, I've been noticed they definitely have been a little bit on edge. So they will start running sometimes too. So it's always iffy, like riding them before a storm or working with them.
No, I had a horse. She was a thoroughbred and used to be a racehorse. And me and my daughter, we rescued her from the kill pen. And so she was kind of skittish as it is anyways. But anytime weather like this happens, she is full on in a panic, just sprinting around the field, just full blast. Full blast sprints,
Yes.
man. So it's I always told all my kids if they're out there helping feed or water, I said, you see that horse? She's got her ears pinned back. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Let her do her thing. Oh, we got Luke Starry on. Luke Starry's checking in, our head ring girl. Have you guys had a chance to meet our ring girl Luke yet, Christina?
I might have met him last time I was there. I'm pretty sure I did at the last fight I was at.
Awesome deal. Well, he's excited for this one. He's excited. This is our first female. We've had some good female fights on, but this is our first female title fight. Not to mention main event, so we're pumped for it. We've already asked you kind of a bunch of some of the similar questions, when we were prepping to do our little inside training camp video that we released, and I hope you liked it. Hopefully it turned out the way you wanted it, but we're going to get into some of that here too. But first off, I'm going to still talk to you about horses for a little bit because we all love horses here. You obviously work with horses for a living. What have you competed in as far as horse riding? Were you equestrian? Were you a Western rider? What did you compete in as far as that goes?
So I do the English style riding and I do the jumping and cross country and dressage. So the cross country go over like ditches into water and like long courses of obstacles. And then like dressage is like patterns and stuff. So I do like pretty much a bunch of different disciplines, but I competed in that for years and I still compete my clients' horses.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, no, my oldest daughter, she was an English rider too, and I never got the dressage. Like I loved the stadium, and I loved the long distance jumping and stuff. The dressage, I had no idea. I had no idea how they judged it. I had no idea how it was rated, how anything. You watch the highest levels of it, you see the horses prance. I mean, it's impressive, but if you go to, I've probably been to 100 regional shows throughout. I'm sure we've probably been at some of the same shows that you were at. You're probably just in a different class, but how do they judge dressage? I have no idea how that works.
Dressage is a lot more technical. It's how well the horse responds to your aids, how well you ride it, how like technical you are going in. Like they have the letters on the sides of the dressage arena. How technical you are, like being precise, having your horse's shoulder at a letter. A lot of technique goes into it.
Believe it. I believe it. Which event do you like the most?
Definitely the cross country, kind of an adrenaline junkie. So jumping like all the obstacles and going fast is my favorite thing.
Exactly, exactly. Cross country was fun. The stadium was always the funnest for me because it's all right there, and so you see them jumping and going around. So it was always, that was always a fun one for me to watch, and always the one most nervous when my daughter was riding because cross country you didn't see her half the time till she was coming up. Stadium, if she fell, I saw her fall. So that was always the one that kind of made me nervous a little bit. But what's the scariest moment that you've had riding horses?
On a cross country course, my horse flipped over the jump. He caught his legs on it. I fell off and he rolled on top of me. And then he used my neck to get up and like kicked my head as he ran away. So I didn't get hurt. Like I was fine afterwards, little sore, but nothing broken or anything.
Oh, so yeah. See, she wasn't lying when she said in the video that she's been way more injured, way more hurt, had way more scary stuff happen training and riding horses than she has in her fight career,
Yeah,
man. I'm telling you.
a 1,000-pound animal use your neck to get up. Yeah, that's crazy.
No, that's it. The closest thing I've had, and it wasn't near as bad as that, is I was helping my daughter one time. It was in between. We're at an event, and it was in between, and her horse, her rear leg. We needed to ice its hock or its ankle, its rear leg. So I'm trying to get the thing to step into a bucket, and of course it steps into the bucket of ice and doesn't realize it's cold, so it immediately shoots it out, and that's where my boxing training came in because I slipped that kick. If I had not just naturally moved my head, I would have ate it right in the teeth, and I'd be uglier than I am today. I promise you. So, that's about the scariest moment I've had. I've had a couple horses. We've had a few that they get wild in the weather, or you hear a sound, or this and that, and they start trying to. But I'm usually pretty alert of the surroundings and teach my kids and stuff to where if you see their ears pinned back, that's when you know there's something wrong. Get out of the way. Just get out of the way. Don't worry about it. We can get them later, but. Now, I don't have horses anymore, and I really don't miss it that much.
I miss it. I miss that he doesn't have horses.
He did.
I love his horses. Anytime I was over here, which now that we're over here permanently, we have our offices over here. I wish I could just go out there and pet them, talk to them, do that because we had a Christmas party one time, and Scott was like, "Hey, I'll give someone $100 if they go jump on the horse." I was like, just get on the horse. He's like, yeah, you got to do it bareback, yada, yada, yada. So I just, walked over to the fence.
We go hard at Christmas parties here.
Calmly talked to her, everything like that. Just climbed up on the fence and got on her back and just rode her for a second and took the easy $100.
She was
Yeah.
a nice horse.
Yes.
She didn't expect it. She got a little bit startled there, and Dylan was like, "Oh crap! Now I'm on her. How do we get off?" And obviously, none of us were in our right state of minds. It's a Christmas party, and Blaine, your former teammate Blaine Slavic, he can attest. He's been to a few of our Christmas parties. They get a little bit, we might tase people for money. We contemplated waterboarding people at one point, but I got talked out of that, so we decided not to do that. But
Probably better.
yeah. It ended up not. I had a friend of mine who was former military kind of told me, "Hey, listen, nobody's probably going to die, but you for sure got to take somebody to the ER. So probably don't do that." I was like, "All right, I won't." So we didn't do it. Didn't do it. But yeah, no. Dylan jumped on the horse with authority, and she didn't buck you off, anyways, right?
No, I'm from Duncan, but obviously I don't ride a ton of horses and haven't rode a ton of horses in my life. But being from down there, you get a lot of people who have farmland and everything like that, have ranches. So I've been around them a little bit and rode a few. So, do you have a favorite breed?
I do work with a lot of thoroughbreds. I work with a lot of thoroughbreds from rescues and just like retraining them to jump and stuff like that. So probably a thoroughbred's my favorite.
Mine too. Mine too. And the one we were just talking about that he jumped on that we were kind of talking about that gets crazy in this kind of weather. She's a field horse. You can't stall her for nothing. I mean, she's one of those ones that
Yeah.
full on panic, and part of it's probably the trauma from being a rescue and this and that. But full on panic, trying to get her into a trailer. She's not about that life. She's at this point in her life, she is an expensive lawn ornament. That's why I decided to finally just to get rid of her and let somebody else has to pay for the feed and water her in the negative 30-degree weather, whatever we get in the winter here.
I know we're
It's definitely a lot of work.
talking a lot of horses and everything, but I do have one question before we jump into all the fighting stuff and getting ready for the 31st show. But what's the oldest horse you've ever, I guess, taken care of or had? I know they get pretty old, and I didn't know horses get as old as they do.
We just lost our oldest horse like a month ago, and she was 35 years old. She kind of ran the barn, so it was really sad. Her name was Silk. She just had free range of the property.
Well,
35.
35 sounds like she probably had a good life then. Run of the
Yes.
property. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, let's go ahead and get into some punchy face questions here. We talked a little bit about in our interview earlier, how you kind of hit your pro career full steam ahead. I guess my question for you is on this. Obviously, it's worked out great for you, for your career. Got you some notoriety right off the bat. There's not a whole lot of people who can say, in my pro debut, I fought a world champion boxer on national television and dismantled her the way I did. But I guess my question is, do you think that it almost fast tracked your career too fast? Like you had some catching up to do. What I'm trying to say is you haven't had an easy opponent your whole career. So they threw you in after you did that, who obviously, in my opinion anyways, I've got nothing to base it on, but Bellator was going to try to make Heather Hardy the face of their female division there. That was their goal. We have somebody with a name, and then you showed them what's what. After that, I feel like most fighters, you build now, especially nowadays with a contender and everything else, they build their careers up slowly. In other words, they carefully match the first 5 or 6 fights where after you showed what you could do in that one, they threw you in against killer after killer after killer. Now you've prospered with it, right? Your careers continued to escalate over the years, but do you think your career would have been different if they would have taken a step back after that fight and build you up slower? Or do you like the fact that you can proudly say and point to your record that you haven't had an easy fight in, as far as MMA goes? Every single one has been either a ranked opponent or somebody on the verge of being ranked. What are your thoughts on how your career started and how it developed at that point in time?
I definitely think it was a great first fight for me. As far as like the matchup was great for my style. I was behind in MMA, and I do think it would have helped for them to kind of give me even like just a little bit, less experienced opponents, for me to be able to build up just like the cage work and the ground stuff. Just because I was very very green when I started going into that, and I had to really play catch up. And so I'm very proud of what I did, but I definitely think that they could have built me up, and I would have had more success as a fight, like just in that division. Maybe like getting to the title if I had gotten a little more time to build up. But I'm very proud of like all the fights that I had.
Oh, and you should be. Like I said, you never turned down a fight. You fought. I mean, honestly, you fought killer after killer in Bellator, and then moved on into Invicta as well. I was just kind of curious if it kind of irks you a little bit because you'll see nowadays these fighters that come up, they'll build up a record to get to 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 to get on the Dana White Contender Series. But if you go back and you look at the level of competition they're fighting to get to 4-0, 5-0, it's not the same as what you had to go through. I mean, it's not just you also. We can talk, 10, 15 years ago, the game was different back then. But what people are figuring out now, the formula is they're kind of copying boxing in that we're going to build up your record against lesser opponents until you get the opportunity you want. Does it kind of irritate you a little bit that you see people getting these opportunities that you had to work a lot harder for? I guess is what I'm asking.
In a way, like they're being very smart about it. I was always very gung ho, and that's just kind of the style that I had. Like I'll fight anybody, and I just really want to see how good I am. Like I didn't think about a career of longevity necessarily, and like building myself up in MMA because I didn't even know that I was gonna keep going and doing it. So I think that's kind of why I was just like, wow, let's take all these fights, let's see how good I am, and so. I mean, I don't really feel too bad about that. It's more later on that I was like, oh, I need to like step back and figure out what I'm doing here because I took those really fast and I just was all in.
It's 100%. It's you're a fighter, right? So you want to fight. The business aspect is a whole different thing. So I get that, and I think that's part of what makes you who you are, and it's kind of developed you throughout your career and makes you different, sets you apart from a lot of other fighters. After you won that first fight with Heather Hardy, how many weirdos were in your social media inboxes? Because let's just be honest, the MMA community is full of weird. There's a bunch of neckbeards that sit in a basement. Let's just be clear about it. There's a bunch of weirdos. How many just crazy people were messaging you that you had no idea who they were?
Oh man, like after I won that fight, my social media just went like I got like 10,000 followers immediately. And that there's so many messages like I had people all the time. They're like, put your pictures on only feet, and like you should be on only feet. So like they always like the focus on the feet, which is hilarious. But yeah, so many like it was crazy.
Gonna, I was gonna ask you if you remembered it, or if you felt comfortable saying it. But what was the weirdest interaction or the weirdest question somebody asked you after that? Because you just like I said, you went from being on the local regional scene to national scene just overnight. Was it the feet questions? Were those the weirdest questions? Or I'm sure you probably even get
So
grosser than that.
weird.
But
Like people ask me to like break their arms and like choke them out, like all sorts of stuff like that. Those are just like no, there's so much stuff.
Hey, can you break my arm, please? Please break my arm.
Yes.
oh, I'm telling you, I mean, I try not to be judgmental. I try not to hate. There's something for everybody. Everybody's got their own weird ticks and what makes them go. But no, there's people. I guarantee you, there's people that would probably pay her good money just to choke them out in jujitsu, or put them in an arm. I mean, yeah,
They tried to do
yeah.
that.
The only problem is yeah, she'd probably end up having to shoot them afterwards because they wouldn't leave her alone. They just follow her everywhere. But man, I'm telling you, at this point in your career, like I said, you've already, you're still in your prime. 30, what are you, 32 now? 32, 33?
No, I'm 35, so I'm pretty in the middle of my
There, at least I aired on the good side of that. So you might be, you may be closer to the downside of your career, but still, there's still a lot of time left. What are you looking to accomplish in the remaining years of your career? Are you just looking for big fights, big opportunities, make another run in the striking arts? What are you looking for?
Lately I've really been like enjoying coming back to kickboxing a lot. So I think that focusing on that, I just it's been such a relief. Like I don't have to hop from gym to gym and run everywhere and try to get all my different kinds of training sessions in. So I'm kind of like looking forward to doing more striking and more tie fights.
Well, that's awesome. Well, you're at the right place. We've got obviously we've got the kickboxing going. We've got kickboxing in big gloves. If you wanted to try your hand at kickboxing in small gloves, we've got that division now too. And rumor has it we've got another K1 sanctioned show. We'll be putting it on in Fort Worth at the end of July too. So let's anytime the Warhorse wants to fight on our card, we're in, right, Dylan?
No, absolutely. I mean, you come with the
That
highest
would be
levels.
awesome.
Yeah. The highest levels, obviously, Husky Fat's trying to take over, the kickboxing, realm in the United States. Obviously, partnering with K1 in the past and doing it again in the future is awesome. Let's talk about your opponent for a second. Has also, traveled all over the world, done all these different fightings, fighting in different places and everything like that. Is that something that, makes you not necessarily watch more of her videos or anything like that, but does it make you prepare a little bit harder than normal, or is it just always the same? Go in, this is how I train, this is what I do.
I definitely respect her, like what she's done in kickboxing. I think she's a very game opponent. I think she's had a lot of experience. She's had a lot more experience in kickboxing than I have. And she's fought high level opponents everywhere. So it's not just like she's fought amateur on like the local circuit or something. She's fought very good high level opponents. So I definitely have been preparing like for a very high level opponent.
Oh, absolutely. No, she's had one. I can't, and I don't have the name right here in front of me. One of her opponents, I know at least one of her opponents she's fought multiple times, is fighting for 1FC right now. So she's fought. She's absolutely right. If you stay in if you're just amateur and you stay in the regional circuit, especially in female, when it comes to females, there's only so many people you can fight, and she realized that, and she started hitting not just the regional circuit but the world circuit, and kind of like what she said, where she had a hardest time ever finding local fights, but you go overseas and they got 16 people in your bracket, so that's how that kind of works. What, Christina, what's your signature strike? What would you say? What would you say is your most deadliest strike? Whether it's kicking, punching, elbows. I mean, we all know your elbows are deadly. You can't use them this fight, but we all know your elbows are deadly.
Yeah, I can't use my elbow, so I would say kicks, head kicks, leg kicks. I love mine. Like I did taekwondo for a long time, and I loved that, and so I have a very good range of tools when I'm kicking.
Can you your longtime coach Mike Duro? His axe kick is the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life. It comes out of nowhere. I don't know if he's ever kicked you with it, but I've seen him kick plenty of people with it. Can you throw that axe kick like Mike can?
I don't know if anybody can throw the axe kick like Mike can. It's 100% full commitment. Um, I mean, I can throw the axe kick, but I definitely don't have his level.
For years has always been hated sparring Mike just for that. Mike catches him with that axe kick at least once every time they spar, even when he's looking for it, and it pisses him off and terrifies him at the same time. So I've been
You
smart
never
enough.
know what's coming.
No, he hides it better than anybody I've ever seen. And the man has so much speed and aggression for a guy our age. It's not fair for anybody. So, but I only spar Mike when it comes to boxing. He's already split my nose open doing that. I'm not letting the man kick me. He's not allowed to kick me. It's not how it works. But how long has Mike? How old were you when Mike started training you? Was you 21, 20, 21, somewhere in there?
Yeah, I think 21 or 22. It's been like 13, 14 years. It's been a long time since I started training with him.
I feel like there's something to be said for somebody like that. Most people, in the pros, and I don't necessarily, and I tell coaches this too. I don't. It's not always a bad thing. Sometimes people outgrow. You outgrow as you learn as much as you can from somebody, or you got to cross train other places and stuff too. But there's something to be said for somebody who's trained under the same coach. Pretty much, she may have been to other gyms for cross training and stuff, but pretty much for her whole entire career. And just watching you guys train, just watching you guys hit mitts together, it's just like getting up and going to get a glass of water in the morning. You guys are just in sync and you flow so well together. And it's it's not really a question, more of a statement, but I think it's really cool the fact that you're with the person who basically help get you started. And not only that, you both are still putting on shows at such a high level, man. I think it's refreshing for this day and age where you see fighters, you get one loss or one fight doesn't come out the way it should, and next thing you know they're going to the next hottest gym, and then they're bouncing to the next hottest gym. So I think it's a statement for both of you, how well the level of commitment you both have and how well you guys work together on that. So I think that's something really cool. One thing I was going to hit you on, and you did talk about not really having any injuries in fights, but I do know you had a major injury in training a few years back. What was that like coming back from? Was it more of a was it more obviously it was a physical thing too, but was it a mental thing to get back into the cage after you had that leg injury?
Yeah, so I broke my shin and I had a rod put inside the bone. So it was a pretty I mean it was pretty traumatic when it happened, I guess. Like I got my kick checked and then like I felt it snap and I was just like, okay, I'm sitting down. I'm not gonna be that person that steps on their leg and like has it snap in half. But I mean, I healed up pretty fast. I think I fought again 8 months after that I had that happen. And first I was a little iffy on the leg kicks when I came back, but I feel like it's stronger than before. So I really don't have any fear of that at all. I mean, coming back, but not really anymore.
Was it tough to throw that first leg kick once you started training again after you had your surgery and recovered?
Yeah, I was definitely not throwing calf kicks like I was before, and that's kind of how it happened. As I just threw a stupid calf kick and like got it checked. So I'm a lot more careful on my calf kicks. I will say that.
Those calf kicks, they're high risk, high reward, right? You can land a couple of them
Hmm.
in the right spot and land them hard, and it can stop a fight or change a fight. But if you don't get the right angle on it, and that little, it's not, and they check that thing, man, it can break your foot, can break your shin just like that. So it's high risk, high reward. You don't see a lot. Calf kicks, MMA, they came to MMA before they came to kickboxing and came to Muay Thai. Now kickboxing and Muay Thai are kind of catching up a little bit with it. So I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see what the next new trick. Because everybody, there's a new thing that comes around once every 2 or 3 years. The calf kick's been the newest trend in MMA for what you think the last 3 or 4 years, Dylan? Somewhere in there. But what what's the next strike? What's the next big strike you think Christina's going to come? Whether MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing, what's the next big thing that somebody's going to quote invent that everybody's going to be using? You think?
I have no idea. Like, there's no telling. It it changes so much, and then people figure it out, and then it's on to something else. So I really don't know what it would be next, but they'll find something.
You don't see a lot of long knees. You don't see a lot of long knees. It's more out of the clinch and MMA and stuff. I think somebody's gonna figure out a way to put that into their striking game plan, and then that'll be the hot thing for. If I had to guess, I'm just guessing. I'm just throwing it out there. I have no clue, but that's something you still see a lot in kickboxing. You still see a lot in ONE FC or in Muay Thai. You watch a UFC event. They're either throwing flying knees to the head or throwing knees out of clinch. You don't see a whole lot of long body knees aimed at the liver and stuff like that. So if I had to guess, I would say maybe that, but that once again, that's a weapon. If not used correctly, it can expose you to a whole lot of other stuff too. So who knows?
Obviously, you've been around the fight game for a long time. Like you said, you're 35 now. What continues to motivate you going forward and everything like that?
I just the love for the sport. I get so much just I guess tension release from going and training, and I'm just so competitive. I have to have something that I focus on. So when I don't have a fight or something, I get a little bit kind of off kilter. And if I have a fight, I've got something to focus on. I have something to get fit for, and it just gives me another reason to like push myself harder and see how much better I can get.
Without, and we'll let you go here in just a minute here. I know you got a busy day ahead of you, but without giving away game plan, is there anything particular that you guys are focused on in this camp? Is there any specific things that you guys are working on? You don't have to even tell us what it is. I'm always curious at people's training camps. Is it more? Some people are of the we're going to focus on what our opponent does and game plan around that, and some people are more we're just going to focus on what we do and let our opponent adjust and we'll adjust as the fight goes on. Is there anything specific you guys are focusing on?
I say if you get too focused on your opponent, you kind of play into their plan a lot. So I focus on inflicting my will on what like my opponent in the fight. So I'm gonna make the fight happen the way that I want to. I'm gonna try to steer her in the way that I want to go, not try to steer myself around her game plan. So like I know like I watch her fights, I'm aware of all her tools, but I want the fight to it's gonna be my fight.
Before we let you go, any sponsors and any last words you have for your opponent before we let you go here?
Sponsors, KBT Equine, which is the barn that I work at, JT Gravitas, Renta Bay and Guthrie. Um, Words from my opponent, I'm just thankful that she took the fight, and I think that's going to be a really good fight, and I'll meet you in the ring.
Happens.
Let's do it.
Christina, it's always a pleasure talking to you. We'll see you in a few weeks. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Have a
Yeah,
good
thank
day.
you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. The Warhorse.
Christina Williams, everybody.
The Warhorse, if you need her, man. I'm as stoked for this fight as I am for any fight we've ever put together on a Husky Fat card. It is going to be epic.
No, I think so as well. I mean, she's just calm, cool, collected.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Even talking about her horses and everything like that, it's not like which I'm obviously when you step in the ring, it's different. You're going to be amped up, but it doesn't seem like she's just like how some people are. They're just constantly amped. And this, that, and they have that massive personality. She just like, hey, I'm just here for work, and I'm going to put on a show.
And that's something I will say. I do think the training horses or something along like that, it translates to the fight game. In fact, that you're under a certain amount of you're under a certain amount of physical stress and a certain amount of mental stress, and at any moment something could change that you're going to have to be able to pivot and handle it. Right? Like it always amazed me. My daughter, training horses, basically doing what she did. For years, she does what Christina still does. My daughter did for years. She still rides, trains a few horses on the side at where she lives now. But it was always impressive to me how you'd have a 5'3", 120-pound person controlling a 1,200 to 1,600-pound animal, right? Because at any second, and she would, if that horse, that horse got out of line and started rearing up, she'd slap the shit out of that thing, and it would listen. It'd listen to her. You'd sit there like, what do you do? But you've got to show. But the point is, and I'll be honest with you, my oldest daughter, if all my kids, and you guys know me, I got way too many kids, but out of all my kids, we're talking the one with a fighter mentality, out of all of them, it was her.
Yeah.
It was her. And for that, multiple reasons, but for that reason specifically, she knew how to handle stressful situations and deal with that, and she was really good at it. I mean, I spent thousands of dollars, and she won a lot of blue ribbons, some red ribbons. It was good.
Yeah. Well, good for her ribbons.
Yeah.
That's one
Yeah,
thing. That's
wasn't
one
good
thing
for my
on these
wallet,
though that
but,
these
yeah.
two fighters will not win. The winner of these fights. Tell them what they win, Scott.
Well, first off, they're pro fights, so they're going to get a purse on this thing. So they're going to get paid, as they should. And then we got spinner belts for days here, man.
Spinner belts.
Spinner belts for days. We've got overseas opportunities. Like I said, partnership with K1 Japan. They're always looking for fighters. They're looking for female fighters specifically too. So there is a good chance the winner of this fight not only get a good shot at competing on our official K1 show, which it'll not only be on the Husky Fat podcast, but it's going to be streamed worldwide on the K1 YouTube channel and things like that. It's going to be legit. So they'll have the opportunity to fight on that card too, with the potential to fight in Japan at the end of the year too. So there is a bunch of opportunities available, not just for these fighters we have coming up, but for any fighters here in the future, man. We are not going anywhere. These cards are just going to get bigger and bigger better and better, and it's gonna be a show, man. It's gonna be a show.
No, absolutely. We are the kickboxing promotion to fight for in the United States, and it's amazing, man. Continue to whatever. Again, I mention this all the time, but it's just a testament to what you do, what Josh and his team does behind the scenes to be able to get everything ready, the work that y'all put in, and continuing to promote. You putting on high level fights. Matchmaking, putting on the high level fights, so it continues to grow and grow and grow. You see a lot of these promotions that just put fights on to have fights on.
Oh, yeah.
That's something that you've never done. You're not just going to throw two Joe Blows out there or anything like that. You're going to make sure that one, these fighters are ready, but also two,
we've had a couple fights the dog pound that were kind of. We'll get them off the street, let them see what happens.
Yeah, but they're still high level though.
Yes,
it seems like every single fight that we have is entertaining. You don't have we might have what some fans think maybe one or two, maybe a handful of the fights that we've had at Husky Fat. They may not seem as entertaining, but as fight fans who are around it as much as we are, damn near every fight that we have is entertaining.
Man, it's a show, dude. It's a show. I will put our cards up with any fight promotion in the world. That includes the UFC. I mean, as far as just pure entertainment, I'm not saying skill level, but as far as pure entertainment, that includes the UFC, that includes Glory, that includes all the big dogs. ONE FC puts on some pretty entertaining cards. They do away with the grappling. They put on some pretty entertaining cards. But we'll put our cards up with any of them. Josh, we're going to have a light show this time around, too, like we always do.
Absolutely.
It's what we do. It's what we do.
Bigger light show.
Yeah.
Bigger light show.
Bigger and better. What's our first time in the downtown Oklahoma City Convention Center? So we got to leave an impression.
We got to turn up.
We've got to leave an impression. And for those of you guys don't know, Josh and the Hold Up Radio crew that handles all our audio video. They do about the work for about 3 different crews, and it's one crew. So most these bigger promotions, you've got your in-house production team is completely separate from your pay-per-view production team. Josh does both. On top of not just running the production during the show, is setting up the production, taking down the production. So Josh's team does enough work for about three crews. Josh himself probably does enough work for about 5 people, 3 to 5 people. The team in total did enough work for about 3 crews. And Dylan does, my boy Dylan over here, the voice of Husky Fat, he does the job for at least 2 people too, because Dylan's the guy in charge of getting the ring set up, getting the ring taken down. The reason why you don't see all the workers at the after party is because they're there still working. A lot of these guys are taking this stuff down. So our after party is at the event. Cracking jokes and talking about what a night that was while we get shit done. Our boy Dave Ward. I'm sure he's watching here. I don't know if I've seen him up there, but Dave's never missed a show yet that we know. I think he missed one. He was out of town for one, but Dave works about as hard as anybody at these things. So the behind the scenes guys are what really makes this happen. I help put the shows together. We do the best we can, but none of this would be possible without these people. So I'm very grateful. We're less than 2 weeks away from yet another show, another big show.
So go on, huskyfat.com right now if you're listening and don't have your tickets. Huskyfat.com. Go down, choose whatever fighter you're wanting to root for. If you're not for a specific fighter, choose one. What are the coolest names on there? If you're like, hey, I like the name of this person, choose them. I'm sure they would love it. They get a little piece of it.
There's a lot of cool names on there, too. Like, let's just be honest. Our boy Saran, that's a pretty badass name. Saran Harrison. The Pariah, yeah. No, there's a lot of cool names, a lot of cool nicknames. We've added a few more fights to the card. We're excited to have TCB. Oh, we've got to close up the curtains back there. There's no telling what's going on in the back.
It didn't help.
Team TCB from Arkansas, they're going to be there. The Scary Berry, Ariana Kimball. So she's going to be making her Husky Fat debut. We just announced that. And finally, a Racely. We finally, Carrillo out of Ardmore. Eddie's fighter. I've been trying to find her a fight for 2 years now. And we finally found her a match. So we're stoked for that fight. So we've got 2 girl fights on the card. I think what do we got total? 13, 14 fights, something like that right now?
Yep. My mom's super stoked.
The
chick fights. She wants a card with all the chick fighter signatures on it. I know I mentioned that last episode.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start. We're gonna have to start being a little bit more. We'll start having fighters autograph posters and stuff at the press conferences and
Again,
stuff.
my mom watches all the podcasts, so shout out, Mom. I appreciate all the support. I love you for everything
Hi,
you've
Mom.
done.
Mama Gilbert in the house.
I wouldn't be where I am today without you and Dad, so shout out to y'all. But she brought up a good idea. We need to get a new bob or use this one.
Yeah.
And
Give it a nipple ring, maybe?
No. Like, take it off. You know how this one pretty much is about to come
Luke
off?
has nipple rings. You know, he could probably
Yeah.
donate one.
How this one's about to come off, and have each fighter at every show sign Bob.
And then give Bob away or just keep
No,
it.
do we keep Bob?
Yeah, but the problem is having to get Bob over to the show to have him sign it, though.
Well, I mean, not if we get us a new clean Bob, and, like, you know how you can unscrew it from the back and just take this part of Bob and just have fighters sign it. Or something of that nature.
That's not a bad idea, honestly.
No, that's
Yeah.
fine. It'd still be worth it, though. Or, like you said, have them sign the
Yeah,
thing,
we
so.
we need to start having sign posters for sure at the press conferences and weigh-ins and stuff, because we can give those away at fight night, and fans, there's hardcore fans, man, that come to watch these fighters. Like you said, one of your friends, he anytime the Sandman's on, which Sandman's on every show, he don't miss a show,
Nope,
right?
He does not. He does not. Lives right down the road. So shout out to Cliff if you're watching the podcast.
A-Game, Derek Adkins got a huge fan base. There's a lot of people that are fans of him too. So yeah, we need to do a better job of fan interaction with fighters, and do some things like that, and that's all part of us growing and continuing. So you're going to see more and more of that as we go. Shifting gears a little bit, our residential WNBA expert isn't here, but we'll have Josh fill in for that. Josh, how excited were you for the WNBA debut, and what are your thoughts on the dust-up between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese?
Didn't watch it, so I don't know.
Dude, that was
I've been watching real basketball.
Angel made it seem like it was just the hardest foul ever. It was just like a common foul. She just, hey, I'm just going to prevent you from scoring this really quick. And Angel just, like, flopped to the ground and then
So
came
the
up
the WNBA and the NBA are basically the same thing.
Yeah.
They're all a bunch of floppers.
Yes.
I got you.
Yeah, it was not like one of those things that come up and then people just make a massive deal about it and everything like that. And it's just, it's not, yeah.
How Jokic, a guy who's what is he, 290 pounds, something like that,
7'1" or some shit
7'1",
like that.
gets just thrown around the floor by tiny little fucking whatever his name is, bald-headed white dude.
Yeah, it blows my mind.
Caruso, the flopping
Dude, they
system.
punched him in the face so many times with his elbows last night. I mean, every time he was driving down, he just kept hitting.
Well, he
Chris.
do it. He
And
do it
then
on purpose.
Yeah, and then throws the ball out and calls, "Hey, I want a foul." Like, man.
The amount of it's just ingrained, I guess, in these guys. I don't know, man, but like I said, man, that's why I like fight sports. I like combat sports. You got to pretend, even if you are hurt, you got to pretend you're not hurt. These guys, fucking Jokic, and I'm a Jokic fan, he can't go 2 seconds without whining and bitching about a foul or flailing around. Anytime he misses a shot or does something bad, it's somebody else's fault other than his. It's the way it always is, man.
Fake tough guys, man. Fake tough guys. And you see, I was at.
And they don't care though. It's just how they're ingrained.
I was
used to that being embarrassed, right, Josh? You'd have gotten ran off the, you'd have gotten,
court.
yeah, you'd got ran off the YMCA court. I would have too if you'd have played like that.
YMCA
If
court.
but seriously
Facts,
though,
big facts.
but it's seriously though, there should be a written rule or unwritten rule, whatever, in basketball that we're not going to call a foul that you don't call in pickup ball.
Yeah.
Right? And all this flopping, all this ridiculous stuff would come to an end because that's not basketball. People try to say it's gamemanship, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. It's just bad. It's just terrible. It's terrible.
No, I agree. So I was at the truck yard watching. I think it was game.
Shouldn't mention their name. We
Sorry,
try to get
yeah.
them. We try to get them to host the after party. They turned down the sponsorship,
They
so
did. So my
we
bad.
don't want to get them. We don't want to give them any love at all. That
Well,
being said, I
anyway,
heard it's
I
a cool spot.
I was at this place that had the Thunder game on,
Yeah.
and it was Game 6, and it was when Caruso and Gordon kind of got into it.
Yep.
And that dude was like, oh, Gordon would absolutely whoop his ass, yada, yada, yada. Oh, these guys are so much bigger. They'd be able to fight and do all this. I'm like, dude, no. You know how many fake tough guys there are in any professional sport who, when it comes down to it, you know it because you've been around the fight game for a very long time. That would not be able to handle themselves at all, don't know how to throw a punch. They're just big.
Most of these guys are like that, man. You grow up that time. One, you're a star athlete, and the other thing is you're massive. Most big guys themselves have never been in a fight in their life anyways, just because nobody wants to fight them because they're scared. They're huge. We're not going to pick on that guy. We're going to leave that guy alone. And then on top of that, you being a prima donna athlete, yes. No, most 99, there's been a few guys that came to the league that they weren't the guy you wanted to tangle with. Tony Allen, he came.
Top 5 who you wouldn't actually want to tangle with.
I don't know if I can even come up with 5. I could if I thought about it, but Tony Allen, he came out of Oklahoma State. There's plenty of rumors of him like sparking his own teammates if they owed him money and stuff. Like one time when he was with the Celtics, he knocked out one of his teammates on their chartered plane because the guy wouldn't pay up at a card game. So Tony Allen ain't the guy. He ain't the guy you want to tangle with.
Who was the dude from the Heat? He might have retired not too long ago. He was like a black belt in I want to say jiu-jitsu or something like that. I can't remember his name. The older guy. He played for a long time. He was super old.
Talking about what's his name? Hasim?
Yes, that guy.
He played for him forever.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know why I can't remember his name.
He was
right
a
now.
decorated, I think, jiu-jitsu person. So maybe him, obviously, because you got to be somewhat good to get a black belt.
Well, there's Ron Artest. I mean, Ron Artest came from Brownsville. He came from New York, Main Streets, New York. Ron Artest.
We watched him fight in real life.
Was it Ron Artest? Who was it? Jermaine O'Neal or Ron Artest who
Both.
slid across
Both.
and punched the fan?
No, that was Jermaine O'Neal.
Yeah.
That was O'Neal.
I mean, Ron Artest was in the audience beating the shit out the fans.
Ron Artest ain't the guy. Steven Jackson from that same crew. He's from Southside Chicago.
And
He
then
had
go to that Detroit crew too. The Pistons. Wallace.
We start talking about Wallace over there. You could even go old school. Some of the old school. Charles Oakley from the Knicks was known as an enforcer. You don't fuck with Oakley, right? There's the Pacers had the Davis boys. They had Dale Davis and Antonio Davis back in the day, and you didn't mess with those guys. There was one guy one time. Antonio Davis's wife was just, they have sections for family, right? And she was in there, and he looks up there, and she's waving at him because some drunk fan's over there harassing her. In the middle of the game, old dude runs up in the stairs, and you see how wide-eyed that guy got. He wasn't doing that again. But so there's a lot of fake. There's a lot of fake tough guys, and I think it's more. Now, and just because some of these guys were enforcers certainly doesn't mean that they can fight either. I mean, Barkley was kind of known as an enforcer, and you ever watch that fight with Shaq and Barkley, it's like the worst fight you've ever seen in your life. It was awful.
And it goes to every professional sport. You see how many professional athletes are trying to get into the boxing and everything like that and just getting knocked out, or they'll have the celebrity fights like Robinson or Peterson and Gore and all those.
Is Nate still alive, or did he pass away? I know he had cancer really bad.
I don't know.
I think he's still alive.
He died that night. But I feel bad talking about the dead, but man, that guy, you can't joust with your jab. You can't run at him like that with your arms straight, especially if you're 5'6". Now that being said, that dude could jump out of. I don't know why that guy didn't just jump over Paul. That would have been cool as shit,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it shows when they're like, oh, my career's done in this sport, so I'm going to kind of try to box now, and how terrible they look out there boxing.
There's a few guys.
Gore's not bad, I don't think.
Gore's not bad. Darren Williams, he played point guard for years in the NBA.
He was a cheat code on 2K, like 12 or 13, I think.
Oh, was he?
Everything.
Was he? He, anyways, he's one of the owners of one of the biggest combat sports gym, Fortis MMA in out of Dallas Fort Worth area, which they had at one point. I mean, they were the gym of the year for the UFC. They had multiple UFC champions at one point and multiple contenders in there. So, and I think he won. I think he had a boxing match and won too. I don't remember who it was against, but he's supposedly legit. That may have been against. He may have beat up Ocho Cinco. May have been who it was.
Ocho Cinco's wild, man. Who was it?
I don't think Ocho can fight, but he sure is funny, though.
Yeah, who was it that they said?
I'm an Ocho fan.
Somebody with him and Shannon were on the podcast about something. He said that, he had to, if I had to protect my kids and so was coming for me, I'd win. And it was, who was it? Anyway, there's no chance. Shannon Sharp was like, no, you would die.
Is Shannon Sharp going to get Me Too'd? What's going on there?
I mean, probably. I feel like he already got from the ESPN. He still has his, what is it called? The Late Show or whatever his podcast is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Nightcap.
Nightcap, yeah. Yeah, but I think ESPN's already
Well, I thought he
the
got
plug.
I don't know if they pulled it on him. I know he got, I forgot the word. He's like, when you get in trouble, but you're still, there.
Yeah.
I forget
On
the
administrative
word.
leave or some shit like that.
Yeah.
while they're investigating.
Yeah, like how anytime there's a cop shooting, they're on paid administrative leave.
Yeah.
One of those things, because innocent until proven guilty type deal. So they gotta do their due diligence on it. But Josh, I've been trying to get you up to speed from what I could. You've been following this Diddy trial.
I have.
Oh, he's in trial?
Oh yes.
Is it like on TV?
No, it's not.
Damn.
And there's
They
no,
dropped the ball.
and they don't have actual.
video.
I haven't found actual transcripts. I've just been reading summaries. But the summaries themselves, man, I'm telling you.
Bro,
They need to have that on TV, like the OJ one and everything like that.
this dude is king freak. I can say that.
Man, that's
It's
crazy.
just a weird. Man,
That
just
is
that
crazy.
whole like I said, man. I don't feel bad for everybody in that whole situation. I do feel bad for Cassie. I do feel bad for a lot of the other girls that he obviously groomed and manipulated, and used his power to basically what he did. Basically, your career's in my hands. I can crush you if you don't do what I tell you to do.
Pretty much.
Is basically what it was, and it's he's P Diddy. It's gonna be worth it, and then turns out they said Cassie, he signed her to a 10 album record deal. He only released one
song.
Wow.
one song, the whole time, and kept her just enough just to keep her under his thumb as long as he could.
Yep.
So
Crazy.
I
Yeah,
feel sorry
he gets
for her
everything he
husband.
deserves.
yeah, I do too,
That's
man.
kinda tough.
Her husband having to hear some of that stuff, dude. Oh,
Yeah, well, he gets everything that he deserves, and he should, obviously. Lock that man up for life.
the only thing I'm afraid of, man, is I'm afraid that the prosecution is trying to overreach a little bit. The RICO charges, the racketeering, and the hopefully there's more witnesses come out. I mean, there's enough to throw the book. The guy's a horrible human being, right?
Yeah.
He's a woman beater. He, obviously he had illegal narcotics on site. He's got enough there. You got enough stuff to probably put the guy away for at least 30, 40 years, which is enough to make him irrelevant the rest of his life. But I'm afraid with these RICO charges and stuff, we'll see
they're
who
not
else.
charging them that. That's the whole thing.
They're charging for RICO.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but they're not charging him for assault and battery. They're not
That's
charging him for possession.
That's
of
my
drugs.
point. That's why I'm afraid
Yeah.
he's going to get out on this.
Yeah, they're not charging him
Like
for
the
that.
obvious stuff that they could just charge you with and just
Yes.
be
They're trying to
convicted like that.
they're trying to say he was sex trafficking
Yeah.
across city lines. They're trying to get him for drugs across the line, and hopefully they got more witnesses and testimony to come out that they can prove that. I just think it's a big reach. Some of the stuff I could be wrong. Josh, do you agree with me on that?
I agree with you on that. And just like they were saying in this court thing, like they're bringing up, the drugs. They're bringing up, him abusive, beating, Cassie and probably other people as well. But even his defense attorneys are saying, yeah, but we're not in court for that. That's not what y'all charging us with.
Yeah, he's a
Y'all
horrible
charging him
person.
with.
They're basically saying, yes, we agree. He's a horrible person,
Yeah.
but this isn't what this is
This
about.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're trying to sway the jury into making him just know that he's a terrible human. In regards to that, just makes them, even though they're not supposed to convict over just random things like that, they'd get that in their head maybe. So they just, regardless of what it is,
I don't know what they're doing,
Guilty.
but I mean,
Hopefully they're smarter than you or I when
Yeah.
it comes to law.
Yeah.
But I don't always state workers, man. I don't always. You can't always count on that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Hey, back on the sports realm really quick. Josh, did you see that our boys played this year in Denver?
who?
The Cowboys and Broncos?
Oh no, I ain't looked at the schedule yet.
Yep. We play
Uh-oh.
y'all in Denver.
You guys
You
can
know,
make
that,
a road
you know what
trip.
that means?
Road trip.
Another beatdown coming your way.
I'd go. I'd like to go see a Denver game.
Another beatdown coming y'all's way. You know what happened last
That
matchup
wouldn't
we
be a
had?
bad game.
No, it really wouldn't.
I'm talking about the BA.
No, it'd be a fun game to be. I think
Denver's-
it's early in the season too, like game 6 or something like that.
I'm gonna have
Denver's
to look.
Denver's a
me see.
beautiful city, man.
me see.
I love Colorado.
Let me see. I have a picture of it. I took a picture of the schedule. It is week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, week 8, October 26th.
October 26th, weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah, I might have to look more into that one.
yeah, that'd be a fun game to go to. I went to the Chiefs Broncos game a few years ago, and it was a blast. Denver's a
telling
cool little city.
I
Not a
love
big
Denver.
city, but
I
it's a cool
love
city.
Denver. I love Colorado.
Yeah,
You know me, mountains. I'm in.
yeah,
Anytime where there's mountains or water, and especially if there's a place where there's both,
yeah.
I'm an outdoorsy kind of guy like that when I want to be sometimes.
That'd be a good one to go to.
There's
So
a big ass
I'm
spider
down.
right there.
Where?
Don't worry about it, Dilly. It's all good.
It's not close to us?
I mean, hey, don't worry about it. It's not. It's over there on that stage running around.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it now. I was like, as long as we're not close to it, I'll tap dance on that spider.
We got any big UFC cards coming up here? I haven't even.
Yes, 317. I don't know
That's
when
what I said. I
think
knew it was
I
coming
think
up here
that's the next
soon.
big one. Let me
I know
see
they
what
had
it is.
Gilbert Burns fought last weekend. I didn't get to watch any of it. I thought it came on at 9 and it came on at like 3 or something, so I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch
6.
that one either.
But from what I saw, it didn't look like it was super duper exciting. I do think Christina kind of reiterated my point when I was talking to her about how she kind of got fed. She kind of got fed to the Lions a little bit too early in her career. Like they should have, after she beat Heather. She had such a big name. They felt like they had to keep giving her big names, and she was so young in her MMA career that she just hadn't had the experience yet to fight those big names in MMA. And she still won a few of those fights, and even in the ones that she lost were still close. But I feel like if Bellator would have done the job that they should have done, it would have been a lot better build up to her career. She would have became a much bigger star than she already was just from day one. But I guess there's a reason why Bellator is not in business anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. UFC 316 actually, so is June 7th, so the week after ours.
Week after ours. Okay, they're smart. They didn't try to compete with us this time.
Marab against O'Malley too.
Okay, Marab will win by rest fuck. All right.
And then Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison.
All right, Kayla. It's Kayla's world. We're all just in it. She's got that one.
And then Kelvin Gastelum and Joe Pfeiffer.
How does Kelvin Gastelum still keep getting on the main cards?
Patchy Mix, that's a name right there.
Patchy Mix can fight, man.
He's 21 against 15-2 Mario Batista.
Ooh, that'll be a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
No, Patchy Mix is coming from. He's coming. One of the ones coming from Bellator shit. No, Patchy Mix can fight.
And then the last fight on the main card pay-per-view is Vicente Luque
Ooh, I'm a
against
fan.
Kevin Holland.
Oh, that's going to be a fan-friendly fight.
It's going to be a good
Both
card,
those
though.
guys, both those guys like to bang, man. Both those guys like Chad talked about. Remember, we had Chad on a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about training with Kevin Holland. Mm-hmm. Kevin Holland's like Superman, too. Hadn't he rescued like 2 people from robberies just randomly happenstance for the last 5 or 6 years? We should ask Chad about that also.
Yeah, I think so.
So big stuff coming up, man. Big news. We got the cards pretty much set now at this point. Hopefully, we won't have a few more adjustments, but we'll get we'll have a total bout sheet posted online here pretty soon. But May 31st, the Oklahoma City Convention Center.
Yeah.
Husky Fat is taking over downtown Oklahoma City one more time.
One more time, and then we're taking over the United States.
Yep.
One fight at a time.
Fort Worth next. We've already, Norman, Edmond. We might as well run back to Oklahoma City, Ardmore.
Oklahoma City.
Fort Worth is on our radar next, man.
And then I don't even know next. I don't even want to drop anything, but I'm trying to think of cool cities to go to that got a bunch of good fighters, a big fight community. What would you think?
I like Kansas City.
Kansas City would be nice, yeah.
I like Kansas City. You know me. I got to get. There's a certain chicken restaurant there that.
Yeah. Hey, I did see that before we get out of here. I did see that you tagged me in a post about what's his name coming to Tulsa. I think it's Tulsa, the cake guy. What was his name?
Oh yeah,
Freaking A. I
yeah.
forgot his name.
DJ guy throws cake at people.
Who?
You know who he is.
Dylan
and I saw him when we were in Kansas City the one time.
Yeah,
I can't think of his
I
name
can't
now.
either.
Steve Aoki.
Steve Aoki, yeah. He's gotten like 10 times more popular since we saw him.
I haven't seen him in a
Dude,
while.
that was
You
crazy.
see, I see him popping up everywhere now.
We go watch the game. We get to see Stanton in the hotel restaurant and everything like that. And then not only that, we're just walking around downtown. We hear live music, so we go to figure out what it is. And we get to literally watch the last 45 minutes to an hour of it.
Yeah, he's
for
going.
free. Perfect seats on it, or standing seats, honestly.
Well, they have just like how they have Texas Live, they have Kansas City Live. They're talking about building an Oklahoma City Live with the new arena too, which the city better holler at me because we'll put on fights there just like they do it.
Cool.
They put on fights. What's it called? XFL? No, XKO out of Dallas Fort Worth. They put on shows at Texas Live all the time. Texas Live,
I like Texas Live.
Texas Live and Billy Bob's. They put shows on out there. So the city of Oklahoma City better holler at us, man. We'll throw some shit up there that they're gonna like. You know.
Absolutely. We'll be close to Billy Bob's when we're in Fort Worth, aren't we?
Yeah. I don't think it's that far down the road, but no, man. It was at Kansas City Live there that Steve Aoki there. We're going through the lights. What is it called? The Gas and Lights District, whatever it's called down there. And we hear the music, so we're walking up to see what's going on with it. And I'm looking to get me a cold beverage, and we go over there, and Steve Aoki out there just drilling people with cakes, man. Like that guy should have been a pitcher back in his day. He didn't miss, man.
They were like 40 feet out too, just up, and he just
he'd get a run. He'd get a
running
running start and just sling that motherfucker, man.
and it hit right in the face, just
boom,
bam. And he played through like 10 or 15. It felt like while we were there.
Like how much money you think he goes through just on pastries? Yeah, pastries a show. You know,
He probably gets some sponsors to donate it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So you think he just comes through? Hey, I'll be in your area at this time. We're gonna need 1,500 cakes.
Something like that.
Yeah,
He's got to throw at least 25 to 30 a show.
man's got a cannon on him, man. We may need to bring him in as the bullpen relief for the Yankees or
Right.
something. You know.
Right? No, it was a good time. I had to hop the wall to get us a drink, and then no one else was able to get one because security came over there.
Yep. Yes, sir. All right, guys. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in for a special Monday edition of the Husky Fat Podcast. If you did not catch this live, first off, shame on you for actually working and not being on your phone or computer while you're at work. That's your fault. But we will have the replay out in a matter of time. Josh, what's the schedule generally speaking, barring any any type of technical difficulties, which we do have on occasion because we're technical people. But when can we anticipate the replay being out and about for peeps?
Thursday is when it'll drop for the app, and then
Friday for everybody else. So Thursday, if you're an app subscriber, which if you're not, you should be. It's the best $4.95 you're ever going to spend. You get all the Husky Fat content, all the replays, all our promo videos we talked about, which, by the way, flowers to Josh once again. I don't know if anybody saw, we did do an inside training camp with Liz Helton and with Christina Williams, and I thought it turned out absolutely awesome, man. Just a good inside deal. But all our videos for that, it's up on the app. All our fights on the app. You get all the replays for free. You get all the dog pounds included with the app. So you subscribe to that thing, you get that. The big shows, all the replays for free. Or if you just go ahead and pay for the yearly fee, which is only, $50?
$49.99.
You get all the big shows included live. You get to watch them live. So you don't have to pay extra. So
And while you're there on the app, go ahead and follow us on all our other social media platforms. We're on the X. We are on the Instagram. We are YouTube. We are also, am I missing one?
The
TikTok. Obviously, Facebook.
The book face.
Yeah, so I think that's all of them.
We're on a bunch of shit that I don't even know what to do when I get on them, but we're on them, and we're producing good content. So
just scan that on the screen.
Yep, scan that thing on
right
the screen.
there.
Take you right there. From us here at our little humble abode at Husky Fat, to you guys out there, one, stay safe. We do have tornadic weather, which we won't. These weathermen are full of shit. But if we do, stay safe and be good to each other. We'll see you next time.
Peace.